All right, so right now, Steve, I'm going to draw two things right here. What are these, Steve? Steve's like, those are trees. Right, Steve? You're right, man. These are trees. Now, I got some funny trees I'm drawing, but let me ask you something. In Genesis, there are two trees that were mentioned in the Genesis account of intense significance. Do you happen to know what they are, Steve? Well, yeah, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Right, man. What's the other one? I don't know. It's the tree of life. Yeah. That's it. Right. Okay. Awesome. So we got the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life. Now, what happened when Adam and Eve partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? What happened? Like, man, they died. Right. All kinds of death entered the world. Spiritual death entered the world. All kinds of separation from God entered the world. Striving, all this mess. And we were left with a performance-based acceptance. We were left with the knowledge of right and wrong, which is essentially the law. And the law, as we know, produces death. It is a form of godliness, but denies the power thereof. And all this performance-based acceptance under the law is really a way that seems right into a man, but it ends in death. There are verses that describe how the law just doesn't work. And if we could be righteous under the law, then we didn't need Jesus to come and die for us and do it right on our behalf. So Steve, the reason why I'm drawing this is that I want you to catch the big aha that I got a couple of years ago. I was sitting in my living room before Christmas Day was about to start, opening gifts and all that other stuff. And I was sitting there, I was feeling quite miserable. I think it was the enemy, just the power of sin, just bringing guilt, shame, that I'm a miserable dad. And I was sitting there, I was crying out to God. I was like, God, would you make me a good dad? I want to be a good dad. You know what he did with that prayer, Steve? He ignored it. I'm sure you're wondering, what the heck? Steve, have you ever asked God to make you a good dad, make you a good husband, make you a good son, make you a good whatever? Yeah? How's that gone? It's a struggle, man. Yes, it is. Because God's not partnering with you in that. Now, this may sound like, woo, what's going on? Okay, follow with me for a second. Lord, I want you to make me good. I want you to please take the evil out of me and leave the good. That's what I've been asking Jesus to do. And he said, By this time, Steve's probably sitting there with his arms crossed like, what kind of, hooky dook are you trying to sell me now, man? So I do this. I pull out a coin, say, Steve, I need you to do something for me. I want you to take the heads and leave the tails. Can you do that for me, Steve? That'd be great. That'd be awesome, Steve. Please do that. Steve's looking at it like, I can't do that. Oh, no, Steve, it's not that hard, man. Go ahead. Just take the one side of the coin and leave the other, please. Just take the one, leave the other. It's a simple request, Steve. Don't you understand the words I'm asking? It's simple. Take the heads, leave the tails, if you don't mind. Or if that's not your preference, you can take the tails and leave the heads. And he's like, I can't do that, Donnie. Like, why not? Like, it's two sides of the same coin. Well, interesting. If we look over here to the tree of death for a second, take a quick look at what it is. It's the tree of the knowledge of, and Steve's filling it in the blanks, good and evil. I said, right. So you're asking God to graft you into one branch of the tree, but please not have any part of the other branch. It's two sides of the same coin. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is not divided out. And that's the illusion that the devil pitched to Adam and Eve. That's the illusion that the world puts before us all the time, that the battle is between good and evil. No, it's not. The battle is between death and life. It's between death and life. This system of death and this system of life. Now, who is this tree of life in the garden? It's Jesus. We can forsake, trying to make it work over here, throw our arms up and just go, all right, Jesus, I need you to do it through me instead. Does that sound familiar to anybody? The reason why I was asking God to take the evil out and leave the good in my life is because I felt pretty dang good about my life. I had a lot to brag about. I had a lot to be proud of. You know what, Jesus, if you could just take some of this yuck out of the way, man, I had a pretty good life going on. It was nothing but pride and self-focus, self-interest, self-pat myself on the back. It wasn't a life of Christ. It was very pretty flesh. And the power of sin was more than happy to move through it in pride and other ways. And God said, nope. And I was frustrated. I was so frustrated. Steve, you ever get frustrated like that? That you're trying, you're striving is not enough? It's like all the time, man. All the time. Yeah. Do you think you're possibly trying to ditch one side of the coin and keep the other? It's like, that's exactly what I'm doing, man. So let me show you how to end that. Okay.